Hello, welcome back to Level 1 News. We're doing a rare early morning recording time, which maybe doesn't matter as much. Today we're doing government and social news, but first, a package.
Some kind soul has made sure that my mother has a lifetime supply of peanut butter. Look at this.
So much.
Look at this.
Those are the big things, too. Yeah. They're not like the little baby jars.
$100 of peanut butter.
Now, you say lifetime supply, but at the current consumption pace, what is it actually?
January.
190 calories per serving. There are 34 servings in each jar.
How many ounces a serving? One?
Serving size, 2 tablespoons.
Well, she has about 4 servings per sandwich, so.
It does seem ridiculous when it's all laid out like that.
These just appeared on the stoop, correct?
Yes, there's a note at like 5:30 in the morning, and the AI was like, I'm 12% sure that's a baby. And it's like, no, AI, that's not a baby. Okay, it's a bag of burning poop then. No, it's not a bag of burning poop either. Blakely. It's like, I hope this finds you well. I've watched you for your show for some time and wanted you to show my appreciation in a meaningful way. Well, it is very meaningful. Thank you. Circumstances have enabled me to do so now without the burden to myself or my family, and please accept this gift of peanut butter and soda. Thank you. A majority of it being for your mother, whatever, if your mom goes that you may like. Okay, I can barely read this, so but
yeah,
thank you.
It's in cursive, so.
But it's not the serial killer scrawl that you might think.
No, it's a very lovely script.
Yeah, decent penmanship.
So this is Hannaford Brothers is in the picture. It says crafted locally orange soda.
And we don't know what locally is, though, because this person's not from here.
Made with pure cane sugar. Scarborough, ME. Oh, it's one of the ME states. There's like Maine
That's
and Minnesota.
Maine, right?
Minnesota.
Is it Maine?
I don't know.
Because MA is Massachusetts.
Yeah,
right?
I think ME is Maine.
This is definitely one we've not seen before.
Yeah. 180 calories a bottle, so I'm going to be wired. And it's the twist top, which is nice. Strong carbonation smell, but not a strong orange smell.
And this is a 10:30 in the morning orange soda.
Yeah, so we're doing an early morning recording because one has to go to the airport later.
Is it the first of the day?
Yes. Yes, it is. I haven't even had any coffee today.
You haven't
wow.
had anything?
Mm-mm.
Wow. Breaking the fast with the orange soda. It's dedication.
We've taken 2 sips now, and you're still like contemplating.
This is delicious. It's like at 180 calories, I was expecting it to taste sugary. This is dangerous because it doesn't taste sugary at all. And it's a very, very light, very hint. It's the hint of orange that I like, not like the overpowering like orange zest.
What's the venue for this drink?
Oh, this is an everyday drink.
Oh.
I bet price-wise, this is not an everyday drink.
Probably not.
Did you find the price on the carton or?
No. It looks like a pretty
Yeah.
fancy soda.
You don't get this in a 12-pack of cans.
Exactly. If it comes in a 4-pack, you're going to be paying for it in most cases.
It says it's good until the 15th of April, 2023. So
You have one per year.
I don't know. Ingredients: triple filtered carbonated water, cane sugar, citric acid, paprika.
Paprika?
That's interesting.
These guys are crazy.
Orleacin.
Wait, paprika is the 4th ingredient? That's a lot.
Yeah.
Sodium citrate, ascorbic acid, gum oxida, orange oil, and other natural flavors, and then ester gum.
So it's got more paprika than citrus flavor.
Now that I know that it's paprika, that does work.
That's interesting.
That is.
I mean, paprika is delicious. So, I mean, I'm kind of cool with it, but I wouldn't
I've
think to pair
already
it with
had
orange.
half the bottle. Yeah, this is a dangerous drink
You
because
didn't give it a grade, though.
this is an A+.
Wow.
I think that is the record.
Yes.
Wow.
The perfect soda, and it's only available in Maine.
Blakely, with his mad 5 a.m. delivery, has found the #1 orange soda.
This really is the #1 orange soda.
Now get a big handful of that peanut butter and judge that. Just keep one hand covered in peanut butter the entire time and just...
I'm learning not to touch my face because of the pandemic, so it's like
You're a little late to the party, aren't you?
It's been 2 years, and I'm still mastering it.
No, it's too precious to use even for the joke.
I can see you at the airport later, just your face is covered in peanut butter.
Wait, that's not mine.
Whose phone is that?
That's just a random one.
Oh, I was like, where did that come from? I didn't think it was yours, but I wasn't sure.
Well, also we're interested to know that we didn't do orange soda for a while.
We didn't.
And now we've brought it back.
We have a few different orange sodas. We'll try it. It's special. I'm glad we did.
We didn't stop doing it for any particular reason. I think we just got busy and forgot it a couple times. But let us know what you think about the renewed orange sodas.
Anyway.
And can anybody?
Don't forget about Devember. You got to join that.
I mean, the bar is set, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow. It's going to be tough for future unknown creepers to leave things on the doorstep. They can be better than this. And let's talk about the Justice Department and the government in general. They are stepping in because of a very, very disgusting business practice. I don't know if they were doing this on purpose, but it seems like after the first time, someone would be like, hey, we should do something about this because this is going to really look bad.
The Wall Street Journal reports that the Justice Department is suing Uber over charging wait time fees for disabled people. So if you have a wheelchair, it's going to take you a few extra minutes to get in the car. Uber has capitalized on that. That's not okay under the Americans with Disabilities law. They should know better. And for it to get to the point where the Justice Department is suing you means that you have been egregiously bad.
I can't believe that they have that as like a thing. And there was never a moment where like Uber's lawyers were like, hey, just as an FYI, if we do this, like we're going to get into legal trouble. Do you think someone got that notification was like, whatever? You
got to explain, Krista, because we didn't talk about that. What the reason is because when you order an Uber, after the driver hits I'm here, a timer starts.
Yeah.
And how much was it, like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Something like 2 minutes. If you're not there in 2 minutes in the car and the drive doesn't start, you get charged an extra fee. Now, if an Uber for a disabled person, like if they need a wheelchair, the van's going to have like the ramp and everything, or the lift, right? But those lifts are really slow.
Yeah.
How long do you think it takes a lift to go from one extreme to the other? Actually, it has to come out and go back in. That's probably a minute, right?
Yeah, at least a minute. Probably more like 90 seconds for one operation, one side of that operation.
Speed run.
It does seem like it was just built in to charge them more.
Oops.
I don't know if that was an oops. I think that was by design.
Well, I'm sure it was an oops in the beginning because I wouldn't have thought about that if I was building that software. I would have thought, man, this is nasty.
Yeah, but the first time it happened, they had plenty of time to implement it.
This is not the first time they've heard about this.
Yeah.
I bet there's one guy who's been emailing them every day.
Yeah.
Disgusting. And unfortunately, it doesn't affect a lot of people, so it doesn't necessarily get a lot of attention. But here's something that affects everybody, and it still won't get a lot of attention.
The U.S. Treasury, a government institution, is buying private app data to target and investigate people. Why would they buy such app data? Well, it's because it would be illegal for them to collect that data in the first place.
So if they think that you're dodging a sanction, like maybe you're sending some Bitcoin to a ransomware country that's been sanctioned, or if you're dodging taxes, they do not like that. If they suspect either of those things, then they will go out and spend money to track you down. And nearly impossible to not be caught up in this net because they don't have to follow rules.
I really wouldn't mind this if it would result in like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk paying more taxes, but that's not what it's going to result in.
But they are not illegally dodging taxes. It is totally legal what they're doing. Reprehensible, perhaps, but perfectly legal.
It's almost like people who have that kind of money can buy laws so that they can keep those loopholes.
Did you see? I don't know why, like my Google News thinks that I have a mixture of like old person interest and teen girl interest. And maybe I do. But the really super popular streamer, the boob streamer, her name starts with an A. She bought a gas station and she tweeted the rich person magic that she used. She bought a $4 million gas station for $1 million, borrowed the other $3 million with no taxes until she sells it and leased it to Citgo.
That sounds about right, based on some of the things I've been reading lately.
That's incredible. She's pretty smart.
She's got a good accountant, I think, is what's happening there. Maybe not, though. I mean, maybe she's brilliant. But it seems like, maybe we could catch those kinds of things, right?
That would be nice.
That seems wrong that she should be able to get away with that. Perhaps we could bring a robot in to look for those people, but that's not what the government is doing. The government is saying, maybe we should stop with the robots. We don't know what's going to happen.
Exclusive, this new bipartisan bill takes aim at algorithms. It's looking at places like where you're watching this video and Twitter and things like that, and they're saying, hey, what led to the selection of content that you see? It wasn't choices that you made. It was an algorithm that was trying to drive engagement, where engagement could be outrage, or engagement could be, this is the most WTF thing I've ever seen. Whatever.
A
whatever
high
gets your
dislike
attention.
ratio. Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
Well, I mean, that actually could be a thing. Not anymore.
Yeah. So that is literally all of TikTok's business model, right? What does TikTok offer other than that algorithm?
It is the algorithm.
So if you can turn, now that is one of the things they want in this bill. They want you to be able to go into a setting and just turn that off. And I guess you just get an alphabetical list of content. I don't know how it sorts it after that.
Maybe by post date. Man, that would be strange, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be weird. Although it could be fun just to explore that once in a while. Yeah.
Probably a lot of cat videos, a lot of dog videos.
I have a feeling the social media people have too much of a lobby presence. I don't think that'll get anywhere.
No.
I don't know. It is popular to attack them. We often see the people who do ransomwares and hacking and stuff like that. We figure out who they are. We charge them. We don't always get them.
U.S. charges Ukrainian and Russian in major ransomware spree and seizes $6 million. Oh, $6 million, big headline. That's not all of it. That's only a very tiny fraction of it. These people might have just been the people that actually hired the criminals that actually did the work. And their part of it was just $6 million. Because isn't there like $100 million in play? Or
Well, I don't think they claim to have gotten all of the money. They just managed to get a hold of a server where I guess it was in transit.
yeah,
something.
and two of the people. But we're actually going to talk more about that, I think, in the business section. This is the international operation part of it. It's the same thing.
Oh, right, because there was some U.S. specific stuff that went on there.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I put that, to be honest.
This one was the Kaseya one, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
They blend. There's so many ransomware attacks and hacking events.
Yeah.
It really is hard to.
We've also had some really good law enforcement wins in terms of like the whole international cooperation and like we're going to go after those guys and blah, blah, blah.
Well, I think they're all, because like last week, they all are admitting they're like, we don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
We're going to have to work together. Well, we all know that 5G is killing us. And
I don't know what you're talking about. My reception is better than ever.
Oh, no. Because those spike proteins are just like broadcasting, or, they're receiving the kill signals, and they're going after your mitochondria.
I'm going to go in my sleep. Yeah.
Obviously. But that is
Not
not.
doing what you loved.
Who doesn't love sleeping?
That's the point.
What if there's one guy that hates sleeping? It's a terrible existence. But that's not the only problem that 5G is causing. It's not just boiling our blood. It might be bringing down our planes.
The FAA to take regulatory action over 5G altimeter interference. So there's a certain type of altimeter that uses radio signals, radar, and it may be that some of the 5G frequencies interfere with that. So we got to make sure that all the aircraft have a modern altimeter in them.
This is a known issue. Other countries have chosen not to put 5G towers within a certain radius of airports. Here in the good old US of A, no such directive.
Well, there's 3 different frequencies for 5G. We could just avoid one of the problem frequencies, but no, we're too stupid.
I don't think that the phone companies would follow that rule.
Probably not.
Well, last week we had a bevy of crypto stories about people in government, usually more local government, trying to get their towns sort of on the map as crypto towns. And they just keep going with it.
New York's incoming mayor says that crypto should be taught in schools. Yeah, right behind balancing your checkbook and understanding how insane credit card interest rates are.
But they don't teach either of those things in schools.
But they're not talking about, they're talking about teaching you how to create a wallet and move money. They're not talking about teaching cryptography.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we should strive for.
It seems like, well, yeah, he had no specifics about what age group and stuff would be learning it. And then the news anchor was like, can you give like a 30-second breakdown of like what you mean and like explain it? And he was like, no one can do that. And I was like, oh, okay.
The metaverse. Isn't that the metaverse?
Yeah, no one can, you can't explain
Can't
it in 30
define
seconds.
it?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That's the beauty of it.
I'm going to turn our children's artwork into NFTs and fund our school system.
This is the same guy who was taking his pay in crypto, I believe.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah.
That was Miami, New York. and I think there was one more.
I mean, all this just seems like idiocracy. I wish that Mike Judge had the terms like, NFT and tokens and like that was well understood to put in idiocracy, because it would have been amazing.
I think at that point all cryptography breaks down, right?
Yeah.
Because there's nobody left to do the hard part. Well, we talked about in recent weeks the school software is terrible. People hate it because it's just grown over the years. It's become something horrible. And even when they like it, it might violate the law because now we have these child protection laws. So if you're a parent, you're in between a rock and a hard place here.
These parents built a school app, and then the city called the cops. This is an unnecessarily long article. It was in Sweden and Norway, which is disappointing because usually I think that's the land of like beautiful, smart people, and it's like, it's unicorn stuff. And it's like, no, this reads like something that would have happened in America. The state spent $117 million US, which is an obscene amount of money, on this app to help parents and students and teachers connect. So like parents can see what their students' homework is, and parents can say, little Timmy's going to be out sick today. It didn't work. It was horrible. It was hard to use. And so these people, this group of parents built another application that would connect to the same endpoints that the crappy application would use, and was more functional and better. And then the city got really upset about that and tried to make them out to be criminals, and actually hired some other people to investigate to see, what laws have they broken. And the technical people concluded there's no laws have been broken, no sensitive information was leaked, and it was open source. So anybody could go look at it and confirm that, but they had to make a big boogeyman out of it. But it has a happy ending. Ultimately, the city was like, I guess this is fine.
But they pulled down the API.
No, at the very end, they said that they finally agreed to have an API go through a third-party company. And so, like, the third-party company will give you...
Who's paying for that?
Access for that. The taxpayers. Yeah.
Well, this article actually turned out to be pretty vague, but it does point out that this is just constant. And they don't even always announce it. Sometimes these are happening under the radar.
I think this was a fear-mongering article. I'll explain why.
Well, it's CNN, isn't it?
Yeah. Hackers have breached organizations in the defense industry and other sensitive sectors, this security firm says. Ooh, boogeyman. Okay, so yeah, this is very non-specific, but this just says defense contractors have been breached. Defense contractors are in a unique position. They usually have to use crappy, outdated software because the government requires them to use crappy, outdated software. And they're more egregiously vulnerable than most because, well, defense contracting is kind of dumb and annoying.
Yep. Being hacked is also dumb and annoying. Well, you might see this headline and you're thinking, hey, I've seen this headline 3-4 times before. Yeah, this is just the appeals process rolling out. Every time there's another decision.
But wait, there's more.
You got to get another headline.
All right. The headline is Google loses challenge against EU antitrust ruling and a $2.8 billion fine. So I thought this was how the leaked documents came out from Google and it talked about how them and Facebook were colluding on ads and things like that. I thought this was that lawsuit. This is not that lawsuit. This is a lawsuit that predates the information that was leaked. So there's probably another one of these that's coming.
That's a big number. Google can absorb those numbers, but they are coming hot and fast lately.
They said that Google, for their part, they did say that they've already made changes to, that the EU wanted. They just thought that the fine was excessive.
It was big. But they knew what they were doing.
Do you think there's ever like a reality where they get hit with so many fines, they're like, screw it, we're just going to pull out of the EU?
Yahoo did that in China. We had the story about that last week.
Yeah. And
but EU's might be a more important market to them, maybe.
What was the other company that pulled out of China at the same time?
There was another one.
Was it Uber?
No, maybe.
I know.
Maybe.
But those data companies whose only value is data, because now Jinping is like, no, you'll store it here and you won't mine it. You'll never move it out of my country. And they're like, well, okay.
We're out.
I think that's what it'll take, though. When the big meme stock thing hit, a lot of people discovered for the first time that Robinhood's business model doesn't make money off of buying and trading stocks. They make money off of selling that data, the flow data, and the way that the clearinghouses and everybody go through this insane process of something that should have been streamlined a long time ago. It's still based on like the paper version, but here we go. And now that we know about it, the EU is taking a look.
The EU is set to ban selling that flow data. So the EU looked at this and said, wait a minute, this is not ethical. We should ban this.
That's going to be interesting because all of the big brokerages have gone to a zero fee model, and that's how they do that. Of course, in the US, it's not been stopped. Portugal is aiming to become a mecca for digital nomads because now you can work from anywhere, right? And Portugal is saying, why not Portugal? It's nice. We have all these wonderful things you can do here. It's cheap. You can live cheaply here, and we're going to give you these laws.
Portugal makes it illegal for your boss to text you after work. You're not at work. Why is your boss bothering you? Do we really need a law for this? Yes, we do.
What if your boss just sends you a text after work and it's like, listen, I just want you to know I love you?
Not allowed.
Straight to jail.
We need that here because, it would be impossible to do that here in America because even for, office work, people expect you to be around constantly.
I've actually set, do not disturb on my email from, 8 to 8. And I'll still usually check it before I go to bed to make sure nothing's, massively on fire, but...
I know a couple of people that actually set their out of office when they go home for the day. And out of office, my normal working hours are, 9 to 5:30. If you need something outside of business hours and it's emergency, here's the emergency number. And I guess, but people are crazy.
I see you systematically checking the peanut butters. What are you observing?
Yeah, I've also noticed that.
So they're all best if used by August 19th, 2023. But then the second line date code is slightly different depending on which one it is. Some of them end in 8, but most of them end in 9.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
It means they're packed with poison, Krista. Well, we had the big climate summit, and
wow, that makes me feel better about the state of the world.
There's two big elephants in the room when you talk about the climate. China and India. Russia, not quite an elephant. Maybe like a small pony also in the room. And, we have these big rules and we argue about all this stuff, and it's like, well, isn't 65% of the problem not here and not talking about this?
Yeah.
For once, they talked about it.
Axios has the headline, China pledges more aggressive climate action. This article is actually really well done because it talks about China's past stance, which is we're industrializing, we're a developing nation, we're coming, we're a first world nation, but we've got a lot of rural areas and a ton of people. We're going to do what we need to do for the good of the people. But this actually says, okay, yes, we actually have a pollution problem and we need to bring that under control, or we're not going to have anywhere for our people to live, which is weird to get that kind of messaging out of the party. And the article points that out and explains why it has more detail, which is cool. But they also said they're going to bring forward some of their environmental controls. Could be that's just the state wanting to take over more industry. Convenient vehicle for doing that.
And they did do that.
Wow,
they nationalized something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Also, I agree with you. I think Axios is one of the best tech news sites because that Wired article earlier that was just not too long and why are you putting me through this? Axios, they give you bullet points. They give you good information.
Yeah, it's here's what they said before. Here's what that means. Yeah.
Generally, there's no spin.
Ironically, it's one of the sites where a subscription maybe is in order.
And that's the paywall alternative. That's where you go to get away from all the propaganda. Good job, Axios. Now somebody's going to comment. It's like, Axios is owned by Condé Nast and they kill children. China is also having its own cyber warfare woes, and their frenemy at the border there is who they are accusing.
China says the Indian, that a government-backed group, Evil Flower, is attacking it and shuts down its airlines data. Because we've got another story where they stole all of the airlines data, this group. China says India is behind it. This is actually, I'm a little bit relieved, I've got to confess, because I'm glad it wasn't America, because we don't need any more tension there. That's crazy.
Woo, it wasn't us.
China says that a foreign spy agency hacked its airlines and stole passenger records. So when you dig into this, you find out that the airlines were just dangerously insecure. But they're blaming India.
And they've also shut down all of the civilian apps that you can look at airline data. So the skies over China, no one knows right now, except for the party. That's going to make some things a lot easier for the spies, isn't it? And we know that the chip shortage is still wreaking havoc. Everything is missing and everything sucks. What are we going to do about it? Well, when I say we, I mean the world, because Japan does have a plan. They're going to treat chips like we treat corn.
Japan to create scheme to subsidize domestic chip output, Nikkei. So this is the plan that has TSMC involved, and I'm really surprised that Reuters didn't, because everybody's starting to recognize TSMC because they're the prettiest girl
at the dance.
But this is the thing with TSMC and Sony and Samsung and a bunch of other companies.
Yeah. So, I think Sony has also pledged a big dollar amount for that.
Yeah.
So they're going to get a nice little fab there. That'll be interesting.
We need that here. It was sad reading that and thinking, because it's an actually good outline of the government is going to take these 7 concrete action steps, and it's there's some people with a plan, and then I look at here and it's our infrastructure plan. We're gonna get more chip plants. And it's yeah, but how? I mean,
is there any oversight for any of this? And it's well, maybe
we're gonna spend trillions into an inflationary holocaust. Yeah.
But look, you can buy all this peanut butter.
No, you can't. What are you talking about? That peanut butter, it's the reason it's on the table is because you can't buy it.
Next year, this is going to be $7,000 of peanut butter.
Keep some of that in the basement. You may need it in the times to come.
Well, it doesn't expire until 2023. I'm in good shape.
Yeah. You'll have so much liquidity.
Be able to trade that for bullets in the coming wars.
I love World War II boat and aircraft warfare type stuff. There's some great YouTube videos that lay all those famous battles out, and they're fascinating, at least to me. One of the best was the Battle of Midway. And in the Battle of Midway, Japan brought out the Yamato. The Yamato was a new class of battleship. It was bigger than anything the world had ever seen before. And they had 2 of them. I think the other one was called the Musashi. Anyway, 2 giant murderous boats. The guns on these things were no one had ever seen anything like it. And then the U.S. was out there and they're I don't know, all we got's this big floating salad bowl full of airplanes. Spoiler alert, that's exactly what you want against the Yamato. It didn't go well for them. So since then, they've been out of the business of building giant boats until now.
After 76 years, Japan has aircraft carriers again, and it definitely does not have anything to do with the tensions around that area or any comments from a neighboring country about turning some of their country into glass.
They're just, they're just interested in doing this for funsies. They needed to spend some money, so definitely not anything to do with war.
There's definitely not mock-ups of these in the desert in a neighboring country either.
So there's one of ours, the Ronald Reagan, and the name of theirs is the Izumo.
Looks kind of similar.
I mean, it's an aircraft carrier.
I think they're probably using our plans at this point.
Yeah.
Well, the metaverse continues to be undefined. It's going to be VR, AR in some way. We're not sure how, but it doesn't stop a lot of different entities from just moving forward with it. We don't know what it is, but we're doing it.
Seoul will be the first city government to join the metaverse.
What does it mean?
Nobody
Nothing.
knows.
They just announced it. They wanted the headline. Wow, the bottling equipment for these is really inconsistent.
Oh yeah, look, the labels aren't the same height.
Well, it's handcrafted goodness.
Maybe it was hand-filled, and this one's even more different.
He's a human being. That's why it's probably so expensive. We don't know that it's expensive. I'm assuming it was. Maybe Blakely can tell us what he paid.
It's so good that normally I would just drink another one, but I'm actually going to save the other 3.
What if somebody gets a hold of one?
No.
You can't
Are
stop
you gonna
it.
hide that? Gotta hide it in the crisper drawer where your cousins won't find it.
But they can see in there.
I have noticed that as I've gotten toward the bottom, the flavor has changed a little bit. The flavor is a little less magical than it was at the end of the bottle.
Is paprika perfectly water soluble?
I don't know. That might be the difference.
You can't shake it though.
I'm not sure if that's the difference or because it's lost just the right amount of carbonation that it's a little different at the end. The carbonation might be the thing that's making it different.
You should just guzzle one to get the full.
I'm going to have to open another one and compare.
And then you cleanse your palate in between with a finger of peanut butter. Let's move on to social media. And everybody, it seems, all at once is figuring out, okay, we've waited long enough. We've observed what's happening. It's time for us to get into crypto. And Twitter is no exception.
Twitter is launching a dedicated crypto team, part of its push toward decentralization. Us just talking about these stories really seems to tweak the algorithm. We've had a couple of these where it's like, just no, I'm not going to share this.
Do you think the algorithm is anti-crypto?
Yes.
Really?
That's weird.
Very.
Well, YouTube is an entity that controls speech. Oh, God, do they control it. And
the amount of titles we come up with every week that it's like, will we get demonetized for that? We'll probably get demonetized for that.
Yeah.
And we try to filter hard on that, and we still get caught. Like, that's how bad it is.
Yeah, we've gotten a spate of those lately for videos from 2020. It's like this was fine. It is now not fine, and it's like so if there's any missing or deleted old versions of the news, that's why.
But YouTube has a problem. You see, while they're trying to push this narrative, universally, everything to do with the narrative gets ruthlessly downvoted. I mean, the ratios on those White House press videos and those Biden speeches are astonishing.
The ratios on just rewind for the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah. YouTube Rewind.
Anything YouTube puts in that little discovery box that they make you look at, it's like, oh, transgender voices. Just they get slaughtered. Most of them don't even turn it on because they know. Well, YouTube said, we're tired of that. We're tired of the masses having a voice. That's not allowed.
YouTube is removing the dislike count on all videos across all of its platforms.
My understanding was that they're keeping it. You can still dislike, but it's always invisible. You can't see the dislike ratio.
The creator can see it.
Well, that's one of the things, though. It's like one of their arguments was that we're removing this, for creator mental health, but creators can still see it.
Right.
And
and the algorithm's probably still using it to filter results. So
for things that are legit scams that have a massively bad ratio, then how do you know as an end user anymore? There's a lot of content that the algorithm incorrectly returns, and that's how you know to keep searching is oh, this content is probably not good because the ratio is bad.
Oh, you're probably not up to date on the latest memo. You're not supposed to try to learn anything for yourself. Only the government and CNN can tell you.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what if you saw, last year's Rewind or whatever, and you looked at it and it just, it was so difficult to articulate why it made you so angry. And then it's like, is this just me? Am I just having a bad day? And if you can't see the validation of oh no, this is just horribly out of touch. Okay, it's not me.
a lot of people are turning off comments as well. So there's no way.
Why do the people need a voice?
Consume.
Although you do have to give them some leeway there because more and more the world is going toward them being responsible for those comments.
Yeah. You made me feel bad. It's your fault.
Are we going to get to a point where it's like, my video got a lot of dislikes and that hurt me mentally, so you owe me money?
You owe me an NFT.
A participation NFT. Well, it's bad. It's real bad. The social media companies are ruining this country. But in other parts of the world, they're striking back. And they're striking back with government power, which is a weird battle. I don't know who to root for.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad either way, I guess.
Central Asian leaders want to tighten grip on social media. Russia's playbook blazes the trail. What is Russia's playbook? Well, the article talks about, remember the voting app? It was like the opposition leader thing. It's like, we're going to do an app because we're the opposition and we want people to get together. The people that developed the app are in jail. The one dude got poloniumed and went to another country and then, recovered because he was in another country to be treated for that, because that's happened so many times. We have treatments for that. And then he came back and now he's, incarcerated because he left the country to get treatment, which was not allowed.
It's a little unfair.
Just a bit. It's
a bit of despotism that would never happen in this country. Julian Assange. Well, there's a lot of hot new trends on TikTok, and I'm not hip to any of them.
Nope.
Sometimes we'll talk about like one of those crazy viral challenges that gets through to our level, our age group.
DV flicks.
Krista, were you aware of this?
I had never seen this before. So this was new to me as well.
Can you demo it for us?
Well, there's a thing there. Apparently this means I'm in trouble.
So remember that if you're ever just signaling to people.
Of course, now that everybody knows that, I mean,
Yeah,
this
I
only
had that
worked
thought.
because her assailant had no idea what she was doing.
She burned the one use
Yeah.
of this
Yeah.
magic wand.
Yeah. Missing North Carolina teen has been found after using a TikTok hand sign alerting that she was in danger. So a truck driver saw her do this and then alerted the police, who pulled over the person, and she had been kidnapped.
In the 80s, that was the universal sign in a movie that you didn't know how to fight. Like if you made a fist with your thumb in, and then like whoever was like teaching you would be like, "Oh no, you'll break your thumb." Like that happened in a ton of movies. True, I guess. That's a lot of leverage to put on your thumb.
Yeah.
Well, Facebook, they changed their name. And if you're wondering why they changed their name, it's because Facebook is very aware of the people's perception about them and why the people perceive them that way. They know the nasty stuff that they're doing, and they actually study it.
Is Facebook bad for you? It's about 360 million users in a study, and the answer was yes.
So, yeah, it was fairly low numbers that overall, but wow, the political divide was crazy. Republicans hate Facebook, Democrats love it.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like no one likes Facebook in my age group.
Well, according to their internal data,
Uh-huh.
not the case.
Well, their internal data also may be skewed toward older people.
It also said that a lot of people would still feel ambiguously depressed.
Right. Yeah. The vague notion of discomfort was much higher than like, I think this is bad.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you're at Facebook, you can't look at those numbers and be happy. Those are bad numbers. But you don't have to take Facebook's word for it. There's a lot of people asking these questions, and the answers seem to be the same.
CNN poll: 3 out of 4 adults think Facebook is making society worse. That's Facebook, the app, not Meta, the company.
I think if you deleted Facebook tomorrow, it would just move to another platform.
Yes.
It already has.
Yeah, like the Twitter's kind of that way too. I mean, like, it's not just Facebook.
But I think Facebook gets the most attention because the people making the laws are the Facebook demographic.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's all decrepit corpses in there.
I mean, we've got some senators on TikTok, but it probably ain't many, right?
Mm-mm.
Do you guys remember saltbae?
Yes. I didn't understand why it was banned.
Oh, this guy. I didn't know what saltbae meant until I saw the picture underneath the article, and I was like, oh, that
Right.
guy.
Yeah, that guy. So that guy's a celebrity chef. He has an insanely expensive steakhouse that is in the area of the climate summit, right? Or, like maybe a couple hours away. So a Vietnamese minister, now this is a public servant, by the way, not supposed to be a rich man.
Well,
How do you get rich?
Well.
How do you get rich? So he went and visited a communist site, and it was like, oh yes, let's pledge our love for communism and the people and the power to the people, and how the Vietnamese people they this is their way of living. Then he went to this guy's restaurant and paid $1,500 a steak
Ooh.
for gold flake plated steaks. What happens after that? Well, somebody found out about it, and there was a hashtag.
Exclusive. Facebook has now unblocked hashtag saltbae after Vietnamese minister's golden steak. That should never have been blocked in the first place.
It was blocked globally. And it wasn't just like not returning search results. If you search for saltbae, it was like, we've detected something wrong here. You've done something wrong. Why did you do that? So in Vietnam, Facebook has a huge history of doing whatever the government says. There you go. Affected the global Facebook.
Just like in Russia, and soon just like in the Asian countries, as we learned a couple of stories ago.
This is only good publicity for saltbae, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Although he took down his video of it too, clearly at somebody's request.
Yeah.
Gold dusted steak. That's something that you would hear about, like Marie Antoinette doing. She lost her head for it.
And we're paywalled here. Reuters. They've
Curse
betrayed
you.
us.
Yeah.
But there's literally one of the stills from the video is this guy, like he's personally serving this table, and he's got a steak on a skewer, and he's feeding that the Vietnamese guy.
I mean, what an experience.
I'm sure it was amazing, right?
You know,
As inflation goes up around the world and people can't afford food, enjoy that gold steak.
what is the $1,500 the gold flake steak or just the experience of it? Because, you know,
I think the steaks, I don't know. I don't even know if he paid for it, but that's not the point. The point is he traveled using fossil fuels a long way to a restaurant to eat beef. The whole climate summit was about beef.
it is possible to produce beef without making a ton of CO2. We found that we can just have minor adjustments to the cow's diet, and it dramatically impacts their CO2 production.
I mean, hell,
And
you could
methane.
even, say with the methane and stuff too, you can use like manure and things, but they don't use it right now.
Right.
They just shovel it away.
We can even capture their ammonia. If we train the cows to pee in a urinal, which is possible, you can actually collect the ammonia and turn it into something commercially viable.
That sounds like a fun job.
Well, once you train them from birth, and then it's not a big deal.
The cows are the migrant workers who are scraping up the pee. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the cow.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, you pick up after your cat all the time.
Yeah, I do.
I pick up after my dog.
I didn't sign up for that, but I do.
Yeah, well, welcome to the rest of your tax-paying life. Tomorrow we got business, and I don't know, what was the other small one, Krista? Do you remember? We talked about it before.
Was
this
it
change.
business and security?
Maybe. I think security is actually one of the bigger ones this week. It's robot. I bet it's business and robot.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you guys then. Bye.